Hello, my dear listeners. Today's story is going to raise a lot of questions. It's a story written by a Russian playwright, Anton Chekhov, and the title of the story is The Bet. So let's get started. 15 years ago, a party was thrown at a banker's home where many intellectuals such as journalists and lawyers were present. During that party, the group in attendance had many lively discussions, ultimately turning to the topic of capital punishment. Some of them thought that capital punishment was the only way out, while others thought that life imprisonment was a better deal. However, both capital punishment and life imprisonment are equally immoral, a guest said. As the group argued, the two sides of the debate resulted in two representatives: the banker, who was in favor of capital punishment and believed that it is more merciful, and a lawyer who believed that life imprisonment is the better option due to its preservation of life. The lawyer believed that any life is better than none and that life cannot be taken away by the government, since life cannot be given if the government realizes that it was a mistake. The banker was furious at lawyer's remarks, so banker and the lawyer decided to enter a bet, with the banker wagering that the lawyer could not stand 5 years of imprisonment. The lawyer, young and idealistic, decides to take the bet longer, to 15 years. If he could last to the end of his sentence, the lawyer would receive 2 million for winning the bet. The banker could not fathom his good fortune and even offers the young lawyer a way out, saying that he is being hasty and foolish. Nevertheless, the lawyer decided to stick to his word and the bet is carried out. For 15 years, the lawyer lives on the banker's property in a small lodge and has no human contact. He can have any item that he desires. At first, the lawyer does not comfort himself with any liquor or tobacco, confining himself to playing the piano. But as the years progress, he gives in and spends much of his time drunk or asleep. Later, the main focus of his time becomes books, as he searches for adventures and comforts that he cannot possess physically. He takes great advantage of the banker's ability to provide any book to him. As the years go by, the lawyer reads virtually every genre under the sun. He makes his way from the lighter reading of the early years to the dense text of the Gospels and Shakespeare. The banker by this time has gone broke due to his recklessness and gambling. He begins to worry that the lawyer's bet with him will ruin him financially. The banker begins to hope against all hope that the lawyer will break his vow and lose the bet. The banker even manages to convince himself that the lawyer is getting the better end of the deal, since he will still be relatively young at 40 with 2 million, relatively rich. With this in mind, the banker goes to investigate how the lawyer is doing. He finds that his prisoner is asleep at his desk, looking much older and careworn than he ever imagined him to be. After observing him for a few seconds, the banker notices a letter on the table. In it, the lawyer proclaims his intention to renounce earthly goods in favor of the spiritual blessings. The lawyer decides to leave his prison 5 hours before the appointed time and renounces his claim to the 2 million, thereby freeing the banker from his debt and from financial ruin. The banker cries and kisses the prisoner with relief. The next day, the watchmen alert the banker of the lawyer's escape, and the banker is unsurprised. He walks over, takes the letter from the lodge and locks it in a fireproof state. So what do you think about the story? A lot of questions. Capital punishment versus life imprisonment. Voluntary imprisonment or enforced imprisonment? Was the banker able to live a guilt-free life? Is the lockdown like an enforced imprisonment? And if it is, then can we make efforts to work out our mental well-being so that once the lockdown opens, we turn out to be better human beings? So I'll leave you thinking over the story. Do drop in your comments about all the questions that has been raised. Do leave in your thoughts in the comments box, and I'll see you soon. Take care.